I hope you enjoyed the movie. Thank you so much for watching it with us. And thank you to my guests on Actorspokee. So let me introduce everybody. We have Ingrid Sinai Buron, who is the actor who performs the role of Badia. You've seen her just now throughout this film that we just watched. And we also have the player who created the character Badia with us, Lexi the First. And also, of course, our Actorspokee regulars, me, Peter Adkison, director and editor, Steve Connard, who's a screenwriter, and my partner in this mayhem for many, many years, and Sarah Moore, who is the dungeon master for this episode. All right, well, okay, so well, let's start with you, Lexi. So,
where to start?
What'd you think of this episode?
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It kills me every week seeing how you take what we do and condense it, first of all, because our sessions are definitely longer than half an hour. But oh man, it's always just so fun seeing the choices we make and watching them in some cases made neater and tighter and cleaner, and in some cases become a running poop joke for an entire episode. It's 50-50.
Well, yeah. So speaking of which, Ingrid, poop jokes for, well, it was a half an hour, but for us it was 4 hours on set.
That was a lot of poop.
It's a lot of poop. Did you? Really, how'd you feel about that?
Come on, it's a funny episode. I thought it was hilarious. I had no problem with it. The humor throughout the whole series has been just absolutely delightful.
I'm thinking of people who maybe tonight is their first time logging in and watching, and this was their impression of our play style, and I just kind of love that for them.
Yeah, welcome to.
This is the legacy I really wanted.
To this pile of what happened tonight.
Because when you think about it, the majority of our actual session was the combat. It was all of the fighting, and it got really stressful. We thought we were going to lose Dukes. It was pretty intense. But of course, when you're doing this, combat is always one of those things that takes way longer when you're playing than it actually takes. So, we spent all this time in these battles trying to stay alive. And then it's like, oh, there was the fight.
There was a mighty battle. There was a little Tolkien action there happening. There was a mighty battle. And then we talked about poop for 40 minutes.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, well, I think Andy helped me get through it at one point. Andy said, this is a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, we're in good company. Yeah. So, Sarah, why did you plan for there to be so much poop in this episode? You're the dungeon master, right?
Clearly this was all part of my master plan. I've been leading up to the poop for 4 episodes before we got here. Extensive notes to get us here. It's always interesting to me as the DM to see what little ad libs the characters grab onto and run with, and it's usually like an NPC that I had not intended to flesh out or give a name, that they're like, but they're my child now. And this episode, it was that Stefan kept stepping off the path to use the bathroom. I don't know, and we just kept circling back to it. I think everybody needed some moments of levity, because there was a lot of almost character death in this.
Well, Stefan did tell me. He said, well, we played all these D&D games all the time and nobody ever talks about going to the bathroom, and then I was thinking, hey, he can't remember if he's half cow or quarter cow, but he's thinking about his cowness, and you're like, I just have this picture of a cow pie.
Yeah.
I think we all should just take a moment in our lives to sit down and think about our cowness.
Yeah.
I think that would benefit everyone.
Okay, so hey, Ingrid, I want to go back to you. So this this character, Badia, how do you see this character? Tell me about Badia. How would you describe Badia if you were talking to somebody else about this show?
Oh, well, let's see. I think she has a high opinion of herself. and her skills, as I would. Those orbs coming out of my hands tonight were awesome. And now I'm sad that I, in real life, can't do that, nor can I make ice come out or heal people. I mean, why would you not think you're hot poop if you could do all those things? And I think sometimes she thinks she's the smartest one in the forest. She isn't, probably, but you know, she does add a lot to the team. So I think it's okay that she's a bit sassy. I enjoy playing her because
She keeps the team alive.
yes, yes.
Well, I know that Ingrid, I know that this entire season you've been hoping that we could see something of her magic. And so when you did the dancing light spell, and I'm picturing the dark jungle, and just like, okay, I am gonna so I'm just learning editing. Like I mean, to learn editing takes years to do. I've been early in the path, even though I've been at it for a while. And I haven't gotten into special effects, but I was like, okay, glowing balls, I should be able to manage this. I should be able to figure this out. And so I did devote a certain portion, not to make you feel loved, but you know, because I love you, I did say, okay, I got to figure out how to get some glowing balls. Somebody who's really, Sarah's husband could have done it even better, but I thought it worked pretty nice. It was fun.
It looked amazing. And you got them just where I was looking, and I was like,
but actually, yeah, if you watch it carefully, there's a different, every character in the scene, Badia and Rainbow and Aggee are each following different eyes. So Bernard's eyes went up like this really far. So I had the green ball go up that way, and like was staring intently with this sense of awe. So I just had one of the balls just sit right in front of her and like bounce up and down a little bit. It was fun. Okay, but enough about balls. Let's go back and poop.
Rainbow would make friend with a literal, just like floating ball of light.
She would.
That is very in character. Yeah.
That's very.
Feels
She would have. She would have enjoyed that as much as Badia did.
She would have
That's
named
true.
it.
I thought about in that scene that it was sort of like when you take a laser pointer for a cat, you know?
Yes.
That's what Bedia could do. You can almost cut away and she's got these rainbows chasing these dancing balls of light.
Yeah.
I love, like, Ingrid, I love watching you. So this is like actually one of the first times Ingrid and I have been able to talk or interact. So this is awesome for me. I'm excited. I love the way you play her. I really think you get her. She's pretty I mean, and that's kind of a D&D trope, is the arrogant sorcerer. It's very much a thing that sometimes I try to step away from, but like, I love being a sorcerer, and the cocky sorcerer is very a comfort spot for me when it comes to playing TTRPGs. So I'm glad that you get that energy as well. But yeah, it's fun. I started that sentence somewhere and I lost it, and I'm gonna stop talking.
It was a fun ride though. I was with you.
Thanks. I tried. Like, we may not have an ending, but you're going to enjoy getting wherever we end up.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe what this whole series has been, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe we don't have
Speaking
an
of
ending,
my
but
TTRPG style,
it's gonna be fun.
So one of the questions I like to ask is interactions with the other characters, right? You know, the other. So I'll go back. I'll start with you this time, Lexi. Like, so how do you see Badia's relationship with each of the other three characters? And then Ingrid, feel free to. And then I'm curious if you see that same relationship go through the process of screenwriting and acting and editing out the other end.
yeah, I feel like, because she's an arrogant person, but she's not a bad person, right? She still wants to do the right thing. She still has like the intention of helping others. She just thinks that she's really, really awesome while she does it. You know, she's not like the school bully or anything. And so I really feel like she has kind of adopted this party, like where initially she was like, I guess I'm just part of this. Now she's like, well, now these are my goofballs. These are my weirdos. You know, like Helios, I definitely think she's like, oh, this one really needs to be protected. Like, oh gosh. And then with Aggee dying and her having to heal him so much, like, even if it frustrates her, she's very much like, but I'm frustrated because I want you alive. You know, same with Rainbow. I really think she's like, they're weird, but they're my weirdos now.
I feel like these are my weirdos needs to be on a t-shirt with the Actoroke logo.
Just Badia holding like little chibies of the other
Yep,
three.
of
These are
everyone.
my weirdos.
These are my weirdos.
well, then I need a shirt that says Badia's balls.
Mhm,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
And it should glow in the
matching.
dark.
Yes.
right? They should glow.
Right?
Get on it, merch team that we don't
I
have.
was gonna say we have one of those.
No.
Sarah, are you not the merch team?
Yeah. Where
Oh, no,
are the
I'm-
t-shirts?
Oh God,
Where
is it
are the
me?
t-shirts?
I'll get right on it. I'm sorry.
Hey, by the way, we have a question from chat. I'm going to take real quick. The question is, how was it narrating in the middle of fighting?
That was funny.
Yeah. Okay. So this was straight. This is the first time, by the way, in an Actoroke segment episode that we've done this, where I'm always the narrator because that's how we are able to make a movie in a week with action, because basically all the complicated parts of filmmaking, we don't do it. We just go to Tanel and show pretty art, or we go to me narrating and describe stuff that's going on. So Steve had this idea of me showing up on the stage. Actually, it was I'll answer the question. It was nerve-wracking for me because I got very confused. I made the mistake of filming this at the end of the evening, which is our film shoots are very exhausting. They're 4 hours of being just on fast. We film super fast. And then, so this part is very difficult in my head to get my head around how I was narrating myself. I should have done it first, because at one point I just, Ingrid probably remembers at one point it was like, I don't know. And I asked Rennie, can you direct me for this? The rest of this. Yeah. So, but Steve, I mean, you had this idea. You should comment about this idea.
Well, as Lexi said earlier, in D&D, a significant portion of an adventure is fighting, but of course you just distill that down. Of course, we don't have $1 million budgets to show huge combat. So we got to find interesting ways to show combat. And we always talk about, role-playing games are theater of the mind. And it's like, well, it'd be interesting if it was like literally a theater, like there's a stage and out comes the narrator, and he's just standing there and he's narrating the combat and the action's going on behind him. I just hit upon that as like, that would be somewhat interesting to show. And then we could just show the chaos of the fight going on behind him, spells going off from Bedia and axes and monks jumping around. And then, woohoo, we win. Ending with the pose, by the way, the superhero pose was great. Super great. I love that.
That's an album cover right there.
I agree. We need to figure how to take that and put it into anyway. So that was just the idea that I was thinking.
Meaning you.
Okay, yeah.
We need to figure it out. No, you need to figure out. Or Janelle needs to figure out how to take that pose and put it on a nice background, because I know I won't mention names, but her names are Ingrid and Bernard, and Javion. Everybody would love to see that.
Yeah.
On a t-shirt.
Also on a t-shirt. Yes.
T-shirt.
And a poster. I want a poster.
Yes, just full size.
So
I love Ingrid. Oh, sorry.
Okay, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love, like, I was on like the hero pose, like spell casting, like things, like watching you like do the spells and everything, because Sarah can attest, I am a very physical player from my seat at the table. I've smacked poor Javian before.
A lot.
I'm so sorry. I adore him.
Things have gone flying off the
Things
table.
have gone flying. I've knocked stuff off. I'm like,
and not just like things you would expect, like dice. Like,
no,
there was, I think she like knocked her
iPad
off the table.
It was like my phone, my notebook have all left the table. So I am but it's not like a graceful, like, this is how it's like, I'm just like, and I'm casting a spell and I'm flailing my arms and it's not cute, but I love watching you actually properly like pantomiming the spells. I think that's super cool to see.
So, hey, Ingrid, have you had anything you'd like to tell us about working on set and performing in Actoroke?
Well, I think I mentioned to you at the reading that it's the most difficult acting project I've ever worked on. And I've been doing this since I was a child, because of the speed of it, the intensity of it. You don't have time to memorize your lines. You cram them in the best you can in 24 hours, and having to kind of grab them off the teleprompter as best you can, while absorbing all the action that has happened, that's happening around you, that will come from the narrator. It is exhausting and fun and a roller coaster. And then to see the finished product, it's brilliant. the artwork, the backgrounds, the fully drawn characters, it's just, it's a delight, but it's hard. Yeah.
Am I a bad person for taking a certain amount of pride in this?
I don't know what that says about you, Peter. Maybe you're a bit of a masochist.
I don't think it's coming from a point of masochism. I think it comes, I mean, for you to say that it's like really hard, I guess the reason I responded well to that, was happy about that, as bad as that sounds, is that like, okay, like you're not bored, I guess is what it says. It's like at least you're getting stretched. If I'm not producing this super high quality Hollywood cinematic production, at least I'm giving you as an actor something like, oh my God, that was hard. Like, woohoo, like the thrill that comes from that, maybe.
Yeah. Well, there are these things that are done that are called 24-hour plays or 48-hour films. So it's kind of like that experience. I did one of those 48-hour films once, because I was like, oh, this is crazy. But this is its own crazy thing, and it's unique, and I love every minute of it, but it is a ride.
Yeah, then you need a nap, like a big one.
Oh yeah. Oh, the next day I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I hope this isn't coming from a place of masochism. Yeah, no, that's not me. But it is so much fun to do that quickly and then to edit it is crazy, and Steve having to write it so fast. And I don't know, I love this cycle that we're on. It's insane. But
well, and I've said this a few times, the quality of the scripts, the writing is so good, it's so funny, it's just such a pleasure to do. So you go through the roller coaster and you're like, I am on this ride and I'm gonna ride it and I'm gonna have fun doing it, and then I'll take a nap after.
Yeah, strap in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ingrid. I'm so glad you said that, because I've told Steve a couple of times that you've said that.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I'm sure he is busting with pride over there, sitting on that.
Well, it's true, because like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and if you don't have a good script, what do you do as an actor? You're lost. And it's just such a delight every time to get it and to see what crazy stuff that comes out of my mouth. I just love it.
Nice.
Well, it starts with Sarah, of course, and the players.
Yeah.
It's nice having the igniter fluid. When as a writer, when you're staring at a white sheet of paper and you're like, okay, what do I write? Like,
Yeah.
but at least, Sarah started it first, and then the players give you choice things, and then you sort of build from there. It'd be impossible to do this if it was like, okay, just write me a story in 4 days. Okay. That would be almost impossible. So at least the role-playing session really helps.
Well, that's the fun part of this, is like right now I'm at a theater because I'm rehearsing for the musical Into the Woods, and they're letting me Zoom from here.
Yay.
And theater is so collaborative, and most film and television I've worked on as an actor, you just show up, you're given the script, and that's it. You don't really get to impart a lot of yourself or collaborate. This situation is very collaborative in that it starts with the game, and then the script is written so quickly, and then it's really this unique thing that you've created that is such a delight. I don't even, when I try to describe it to people, it's kind of hard to describe it because it's its own thing.
Yeah, that's out here on the fringe.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to geekdom, by the way. This is us geeks. Us geeks are really used to this. Like nobody understanding what the hell we're doing. It's our comfort place.
My husband, who is watching this right now. Hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
He's a huge D&D player. He's
Yay.
Eldritch Horror, so he has been telling me about role-playing games forever. And he's always like, you should come do this. You're an actor. You'd really enjoy this. And I'm like, honey, you go do your thing. And so now I'm getting to experience it. And it's a delight.
The geekdom and the theater kid overlap is a very, very real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Almost just a circle.
Yeah.
Like the
a
Venn diagram,
it's like this.
It's like
it's right there.
Exactly.
Well, we like to say, role playing, it's a short commute from role playing to acting.
Oh, yeah.
There is.
And the reason I love this is that well, it's been a short commute for me. Like, you know, I've been playing RPGs since 1978. And then, you know, when I turned 50, I got a wild hair, went to film school. And it's just like this, it's so close together for me. And Actoroke just brings these two things that I love together. And yeah.
I think it all comes down to storytelling at the end of the day. Like theater, like TTRPGs, all these things, it all comes down to just having this passion for telling a story in some sort of medium or another. And I'm like Ingrid, like I love the collaborative aspect of a lot of art. You know, I love working with people. I love ideas getting bounced off each other. That brings me a lot of joy. So I love this environment.
There was two things in this particular episode that I think was the first. I think we did the best yet. So this is a challenge for Tanil. Good job, Tanil. The montage scene, where just the way the montage travel scene was super cool. The way that was handled, I love that. And the elevator up and down of In the Pit was just too much.
Yeah.
Like that was so good. I mean, it was like, Peter, I remember you saying, I don't know how we're going to film this.
Well, by the way, anybody watching, we did film it. You know, we and I had it completely edited that way, and because I didn't know, I thought what I was going to get from Tanel was just like the classic one picture, which would just be like maybe a down angle showing all the characters in a chain or something like that. And I knew I would use it, but what Tanel gave me was like, oh no, here's the frame, and then here's this really long picture with all the characters dangling, and you could just scroll back and forth through them. And like, oh wow, okay, so I threw away all the edit that I had done of the video happily, okay, because we did it, but it, you know, I mean, Ingrid remembers, like it was, I had all the characters like pulling their arms up like this and looking around and kind of swinging, but I didn't have the connections between people's hands and the feet. You know, we could have, you know, Steve and I talked about a way we could have filmed maybe by having a character above up on a ladder, dangling their feet off or something like that. But the problem is that in the wardrobe, we saved money on wardrobe by not dealing with footwear, because anybody's done costuming, footwear can be like half the price of I mean, it can be half the effort of a costume is finding the right shoes. It sounds weird, but it's true. And so we said, well, hey, our green screen doesn't go down to the floor. We haven't painted the floor yet, the green. We can't do any feet in the shots. But I hadn't thought like, well, yeah, we could if the character was hanging up in the air. We could, sure we could. You know? Anyway, so.
But we don't have hooves either, correct?
That's true.
Right.
We did not build hooves.
We did not build hooves. So yeah.
Yet. We still have one episode left.
Right.
Bandersnatch on it.
So hey, I asked both Lexi and Ingrid about Badia and how you saw her. Steve, as a screenwriter, like how do you see Badia? Like connect what you heard from Lexi and Ingrid and give us your perspective on Badia.
Well, I think Ingrid, you made the comment that you thought that she thinks she's the smartest person in the room. I mean, she is the smartest person in the room, like by a long shot. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just true.
Now, Rainbow's pretty smart too, right?
Yeah, there's different levels of intellect, but like the whole, like I love the description. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a lot of times scientific stuff that Ingrid will just throw out in Badia will throw out. Like the whole I thought was pretty funny. Like what's the fastest distance travel points? And she's like literally gives a scientific, like, no. And of course, in Helios is just like, no, as a crow flies, right? That's obviously the fastest route. And then of course, you know, our girl Rainbow loves it's bees, you know, you beeline, obviously. But she gives a scientific end. Yeah, I think that she's highly intelligent, and she's just she's the Sheldon Cooper without the anyway, yeah, she's super smart. And I love the first line in the first episode going, you know, I could be a lot more effective if I wasn't just healing. It's like you're like trying to, hello, I have a repertoire here.
That came directly from the
it did
from the
RPG
it came
right
session.
from Lexi,
yeah, sure. Lexi was like, I can do other things.
I'm so deadly. I am so deadly. Like, y'all.
I mean, anybody's big can swing an axe, you know. I'm not trying to insult the cow in the room, but you know, to actually take time to learn spells and understand the arcanum and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, come on, you have to have high intellect, and so.
I think that's why I love the evil demon pit scene so much was it was like kind of like one of the first times I feel like I really had a chance as like a player and a sorcerer to show Badia like really getting creative with her spells and like flexing her use of them as to more than just like, because that's why magic users are my favorite class, because I feel like you get all this wiggle room, like, okay, what if I combine, what if I use it like this? I love testing the limits of what my DM will let me get away with how I utilize the spells I have.
Yeah, well,
So
and that one, I mean, the look of panic in your eye when you were the only one that didn't fall into the pit, I was like, I can't wait to see what she comes up with to get him out of there. Like, I'm ready. Maybe series 2 is over right now. Maybe they just all have gotten swallowed by the sinkhole.
I literally looked at you and I was like, I'm going to argue for what I'm about to do.
I was ready.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I created that, and I love the whole technobabble thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've been practicing this, stop. It's
It
like,
was
oh,
so
this
good.
stop, just do it.
I loved
Because
it.
obviously no one's going to understand anything that Badia is saying, right? There's just no way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Rainbow, don't explain it. Just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Just do it.
And by the way, that line was actually much longer. I'm like, no, I had Rainbow cut in like halfway through the line that when I did the edit, it's like, okay, we're just cutting half this clip. Rainbow's not even going to wait that long.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing, though, is that's what the high intellect people do, is they give the other thing I thought was pretty funny was they're all very heavy, and then Badia just says, well, scientifically it's a gravity well, right? Okay, she's like obviously thinking on a completely different level, like who would think, and that's like scientific terminology. I think she's great.
I got one question. It's a little off the Badia topic, but I got to ask it because it's an opportunity to say something about Lowell Dio. What a great job Lowell did as
So
Dukes. I mean,
Yes.
fantastic. He's been with us before. He was in series 1 as Rashidi, and he's actually in the original Chaldea main storyline that we did years ago. So we worked with him a long time ago. So Sarah, how did you feel about the Dukes portrayal that Lowell gave us?
Yeah, I loved him as Dukes. As soon as you said, I think I'm going to ask Lowell, I was like, yes, that's perfect, because I sort of, saw him as this kind of towering figure who came off as very capable, but also like a touch exasperated with everything that's happening in the party. It didn't have to go that way. I was prepared for this to be, a nice, like, let's have him stick around and let's have him be nice. And they like were instantaneously so mean to him, which was really interesting to me, because all the other
that brings it back to Badia, because I think that came from Lexi.
I think it did. Lexi was
you choices.
Yeah,
you specifically said, you're like, oh, and then he like flashes this card but doesn't really let you see it, and I'm like, that is so suspicious. The stranger is meeting us in the middle of these woods with like people trying to kill us, and he's like giving us half answers. Like, this is suspicious.
Lexi's standing by it.
And that's fine. But it did flavor the rest of the interactions, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but I thought Lowell was perfect. I thought he was great, and he's always great
good.
every time we work with him. So,
Yeah.
Well, I love the way he deadpan delivers funny lines, like it's just deadpan. I mean, that's talent. I mean, honestly, we all know that anyway. I mean, yeah, he's amazing.
Ingrid, had you ever worked with Lowell before?
Yeah, I think when I first moved back here, I couldn't remember exactly, but I knew I'd met him, and I think we worked together, but I've done a lot of stuff. I don't remember what.
That's like me talking about D&D games. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah.
So I have another off the topic sort of, Ingrid. So I just want you to know that when you came in and read to play a dragon early in season 1, first episode, I think.
Yeah, you played, anybody who's been a longtime Actoroke fan, you might recognize Ingrid from series 1. She played Rahat, the dragon. She was in the first and last episodes, I believe.
So after that recording, Peter and I got together and like, oh my God, that was amazing.
yeah. Like,
I mean,
how,
we were
how
just
can
floored.
we
I'm like,
use her again? Like, what can we use her again for?
that dragon's coming back. I have to tell you, I was absolutely, talk about just understanding how a dragon is portrayed. Like, Peter and I have this issue a lot. We're, supernatural, mythological, dwarves, elves, all that sort of stuff. And people come in and read for parts. And it's like, yeah, that's not a dwarf, or no, that's not an elf. And then you just come in just cold and read for a dragon and just nail it. I was like, oh.
Thank you. I don't know what that says about me, that I have a dragon in me, but I will take it as a compliment.
In this crowd, that is definitely a compliment.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, that is definitely, it's high praise.
I will take it. Well, I think I said when we were filming that series, I was like, I'm a dragon. That is awesome.
Yeah.
When does an actress, especially because you never even see female dragons? I mean, I think that in Game of Thrones, one of them was female, but it's like, you don't get to see that portrayed. So that's pretty cool. And now I'm a sorceress. I mean, come on. What do I get to be next? It's awesome.
Actually, I was going to ask you that. What would you play next?
Yeah. Well, that's the joy of doing, filming Chaldea and Actoroke type of stuff, as a sort of a small indie filmmaker in Seattle. I can't pay high rates and all that stuff like that, but you can play a dragon or a demi-goddess or an orc, or so it's like, or you could go out and do another Amazon commercial, right?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think being a thief would be fun, and I think being a god or
Rogues
god,
for life. Rogue god.
God.
I think that's my next step, right? I got to move up the ladder, so next I'm a goddess, right?
Yeah, for
Got it.
sure.
All right, note to self. All right.
I have one more thing to say, by the way, Peter.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, this was obviously, we were talking about, this is the humor, potty humor episode. So I was very, very happy with, so the Drazzledar, which was roaring at the end of the episode. It's like the scariest thing in Chaldea that you could run into is a Drazzledar. And I just love the fact that you don't have to worry about the potty humor in the next episode, because hearing that Drazzledar roar literally scared the shit out of
Everybody.
out of Helios, and he's now healed. So there you go. The Drazzledar Helios, no more potty humor, unless Stefan decides to bring back, potty humor part Duke.
Yeah, who knows?
Part Dukes.
Well, yeah. Well, I think Sarah, you've got the onus of a lot of strings to wrap up.
I have so many strings. I'm trying my best to like spider web it all together into one thing. I've got so many pages of notes.
And another here at the end, I keep thinking about the backstory I gave you, and I was like, I think I went a little too hard on that.
No, it's
for the length of this.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's gonna happen in this next one, but I have for those watching, I did have everybody send me formative memories of their character that are secret, that the other characters do not know about them. And there's a possibility that it will come into play maybe if not everybody makes it out of the quests alive.
All right. Well, there you go. And that concludes movie night for episode 5 of Ariadne's Artisans, an Actoroke series set in the world of Chaldea. We will be back in 1 week, like we are every week, on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/GenConTV. Yes. In our next Actoroke episode, celebrity dungeon master Sarah Moore will dungeon master the series finale of Aggee and the Anumians with players Stefan Bicorni, Lexi the First, Tavjan Smith, and Megan Kermy Nassar, also with live illustrations by Danelle Lovett. All right. Thank you. Good night.